everyone, and welcome to Spill the RT. I'm Eamon Shanahan, and I'm here with Josh once again. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing well, Amo. It's been an interesting week. How's your week been?
It's been very interesting, but it's
Yeah,
it's good. It's looking up. The sun is
there you
out.
go.
We're just ready for the summer now. So bring it all on.
That's absolutely. Let's get to spring and then summer. How about that?
Well, yeah, this is true. Well, the rain is kind of subsiding, so we're good. We're good. We're good. Your weekly channel of weather support right here on
Yes.
Spill the
How is the
RT.
weather around the world? The rains are
Mm.
stopped by Amo, but the rains are here by me in the Bay Area. See that?
Excellent, excellent. And over here in the west and over
Right.
here in the east, we've got a
The
gust
seven,
coming in.
the seven closeted train spotters who are listening to this show are like, "Wow, there's weather."
This
Otherwise,
weather.
who cares?
Yes, well, if you're listening to this in December 2027 as a like watch back series, you can now know that the weather was shit at the beginning of 2026.
A watchback series. We should only be so lucky.
We should only be so well. You never know. Saying such things, you see that there is a kind of when people start listening to us who are new listeners, they do tend to go back and listen to a couple of other episodes. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's
they
true.
listen. They'll
We
listen to the
like that.
highlights. They listen to the
We like that.
highlights.
We like that.
Yes,
Speaking of
yeah,
highlights, are we ready? You ready
highlights.
for
We are.
this?
We are absolutely. Let it rip.
Okay. This week, golden toilet at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, modular playgrounds for disaster zones, the UN's Office for Outer Space Affairs, and how many people staff it. I bet you can't even guess that one. Is there a best sleeping position? And Warhol's factory is now a Uniqlo store. Yep.
Mm.
All that and a brand new guest are up next as we spill the art tea. Welcome to episode 82.
82, feeling blue. Not really. Not really, but that's a lot of tea
Not
to
so
get
much.
spilling. That's a lot of tea
That's
to
a
get
lot.
spilling. It is, it is. But before we do bring in our guest all the way from Ireland, do tell our guests what they should do, Josh.
Like, share, subscribe, send to three friends, buy some swag, send a guest our way, be a guest, leave a
Yeah,
comment. The three big things: share, subscribe, and leave a comment. How about
exactly.
that?
Exactly. That's perfect. Perfect. You can put on that little bell there that you can see in the image there.
Yep.
And
But now
that
we,
gives
we
you
got that out of the way.
notifications. Yeah,
We got that out of the way. I
we
hate
got
that
that.
part of the show. I
Do
really
you?
do.
Do
I
you?
do.
It's important.
Maybe, but it
Yeah.
makes me feel like I'm a huckster, and I'm not a huckster. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a huckster.
Okay,
I'm
well,
a
with that,
I'm an asshole, but I'm not a huckster. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference.
understood, understood. Well, with all of that in mind, please welcome on our guest. It is Tara. Hi, Tara. How are you doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, 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 Tara. Where are you broadcasting from this evening?
I'm broadcasting from the Glen of Glanties in County Donegal.
County Donegal. Oh, amazing, excellent. I love those Nori folk. They're amazing.
So, for those of us that don't live in Ireland, can you tell us north, south, east, or west?
I'm in the very, very northwest. So
Ah,
beside Northern Ireland, but not part of Northern Ireland, but more northerly than Northern Ireland, but in the south.
Okay, how to confuse people 101.
keep in mind, most of our American audience probably can't figure out where Ireland is on a map anyway. So,
Yeah, separate to the UK.
Next stop, America, actually.
Yes,
and I'm
exactly.
not saying that. I'm not saying that as a negative. Like, we're just well known. Americans in geography are really not.
Yeah. It's like,
That's a
oh,
Venn diagram.
you live in Great Britain. No, we don't. We do
That's
not live
not
in Great Britain.
It's a
that's
Venn
not
diagram with.
confined. Yeah, it's not confined to America as well because there's quite a few people around Europe that can't. They don't have a clue where Ireland is
There you
either,
go.
so it's okay.
That's
Yeah.
nonetheless,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
It's a very green country. We love it.
Yes.
So off we go.
Off
Off
we
we go to
go.
Washington D.C., where I don't know if anyone not living in the U.S. is aware of this, but President Fascist is on a monument spree. He likes to build. He really, really likes to build because when you're sundowning and they're trying to distract you with something, building things is the way you do that, right?
Hmm.
So, in order to we've had this conversation multiple times. Like,
Mm.
how do you have protest art in the age of President Fascist, given how performative everything he does is, right? So the latest attempt at this, remember, there's like been the statues, him and Epstein hugging each other. The
Mm.
latest version is a giant golden toilet showed up on the National Mall and was allowed to stay because of First Amendment rights. And so people were going up to it, taking pictures with it, sitting on it, like my question, of course, is this actually effective as protest? I'm not certain. There
Well,
you go.
there you
There's
go,
a
folks. There is your golden
yeah.
marble toilet. Toilet,
Yeah.
toilet, a throne fit
Yeah.
for a king.
A throne fit for a schmuck. Yes.
Well, I mean, they look like they've used the best of materials. So
Yeah.
it has been very much, you know, put into the greatest of spend. That wasn't a cheap toilet.
It's true.
It's not
Wow.
a
So
cheap
this is
toilet.
a protest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So there are parts of the National Mall in Washington, D.C., where you're allowed to, because of First Amendment rights, you're allowed to do political protests, and stuff is allowed to stay up for multiple days at a time. So in the
Mm,
past, there's been these giant golden statues, there's been various kinds of things. This is the latest attempt of kind of protesting.
yeah.
And, on the one hand, in the age of memes, right, in the age of circulation of images, one can see a certain kind of power to this. I'm just not certain if it actually has any real world, like
Mm,
beyond solidarity. Like we all feel something about this, and then I'm like, okay, but we still have to deal with what's going on in the
yeah.
world.
Well, no matter what you do, or no matter how much money you put into a toilet, you still put shit in it. So,
Well, it's not connected. So if you were to actually do that, you'd probably get arrested for public defecation
okay.
and desecration of the national monument.
Maybe this is what's going into the new extension at the White House. They just haven't delivered it properly.
Oh,
It
dude.
was the wrong place.
Oh my God, this week as well. So again, it's all about keeping the sundowner from like being distracted, right? So
Mm,
he wants to repaint a historic building that has the historic gray slate tile. He wants to repaint it white. And they're like, you can't do this. A, it's not allowed. But B, why would you take this slate tile that's been around for like 100 years and then paint it white? Because he likes white, because white is purity if you're this kind of guy, right?
uh-huh. He likes
Yeah.
white, but he also likes gold. So,
Well, that's the whole point.
mm,
Hence the golden shitter.
absolutely.
It
The
looks like
golden shitter for the golden shithead. How's that?
it looks like it cost a huge amount of money.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Is it just it's not actual marble?
Yeah, well, no, in order to get it there, it's actually a prop. It's not
Okay.
really
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So someone did a really good faux marble job,
Mhm.
but it's like only a couple 100 pounds altogether when assembled
Okay.
on site.
Oh, excellent. Well, it's very well done. The artist should be royally commended.
Yes.
Royally.
Royally. I'm glad you picked up on that. Well, that tea is flushed down that loo.
But speaking of modularity, so here's an interesting question, right? Let's
Well,
say you want to help people who are in various war zones, disaster zones around the world, right?
mhm.
The people I think most of us think about are the adults, but it's actually kids who end up being most displaced, most affected, right? Schools, not just schools getting bombed, but like they get displaced, like all kinds of things happen, and the kids end up being stuck in the middle of this. So there's this UK company that has now come up with a way of having modular playgrounds that can be deployed into disaster zones so that the kids have a place to actually be able to be kids. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ah, well, here it is. Here's an
You
image
have a picture?
of the. I
Yeah.
do. I do. Here's an image of the play area, or the kind of like the playpen, and it looks very cool. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I'd have a go on that.
I would too. I do. I always loved the climbing walls, and I'd go straight for that anyway. That's for sure.
But the
Mhm.
whole idea is like it's modular, it can be
Yeah.
packed up and airlifted and then dropped like anything else for disaster relief,
Mm.
right? And so like we have prepackaged water, we have prepackaged food, we have prepackaged blankets. Now we also have prepackaged playgrounds for children.
I mean, um, yes, and I think children need to be children, but are we, is that putting people in danger in a war
Well,
zone?
I think it's more like they're already there, and it's just they're not doing this for profit, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a whole thing called disaster capitalism where people profit off the fact that these things happen, right? And so like they're making big money because people go to war.
Mhm.
This is trying to like make life better for the people that are trapped in it. Like you're right, like they're in danger either way, right? But this is like you're in a refugee camp. These things tend to be rather squalid, just like nothing but tents. And this is something that would be like for the kids as opposed to just bare survival.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think like that's what we're really talking about is kind of like keeping the human spirit alive, particularly in terms of children. Because
It's
as we all
lovely.
know, if you lose that as a child, you ain't going to have it as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important, I suppose, to keep the kids happier, I suppose, and I suppose it's very difficult for them to be happy in those sort of war torn situations. And like it's, I suppose, just to giving them a little bit of their childhood back. But all that said, it's, as I think you're right, Tara. Maybe potentially it is by putting a focus on or a target on certain areas by collecting people together in the one space. But then I don't know. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. Yeah.
But again, if you're already in a disaster zone, if you're already in a war zone, right? It's not like shit hasn't already gone wrong around you. Right? What I found interesting about this was it was this acknowledgement that people are more than basic necessities in order to stay people.
Yeah.
Right. And that what actually keeps people alive in situations where their world has collapsed around them is their sense of humanity, is the sense that they are more than just trying to stay alive. Otherwise, it's just like a dystopian hellscape on Earth. It's not a science fiction film, it's people's reality. And so I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I like this idea. Like, because this is a photographer, he's an artist, and he could have done a lot of things with his time. He's thinking about how to help people when you can't really help them in other ways.
Yeah. No, it's really sweet. And
It is.
yeah. No, it is. I think it's really sweet that he
It
he
is.
went out of his way to do that, to make that happen. He could have spent it on chocolate or something.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Poof.
Boof.
So let me ask you this.
Wow.
We all know there's the potential for asteroids to hit the Earth, right? Like we could
yes.
all be wiped out like the dinosaurs were at any time.
Oh, where's this going?
So my question is, knowing that, how many people do you think are tasked by the United Nations to scan the skies and look for the killer asteroid?
100,000.
36.
One.
Just the one.
One lady. Yep.
One lady.
Yes.
Ladies are good at detail, though. And
They are. They
fair
are.
play to her.
Kudos to the female population. They're very good
Her
with their
name
details.
is, I hope I'm pronouncing this semi-word close to the way it's actually supposed to be pronounced, Arti Holla-Maini. And she works for the UN's Office for Outer Space Affairs, but she is literally the one person in charge. And apparently she's a British lawyer with a background in the satellite business. It's like, how do you end up with a job like this?
Mad.
It's like you go through all of your job posts on LinkedIn and you say, here's a job posting for you to be protector of the world by looking out for asteroids. And where do you apply? And what's part of the qualities? Do you have to have
100 have already applied in the last 24 hours.
Literally, yeah. Literally. Some AI bot has just suggested that she was perfect for the role.
You would think there'd be more people now, looking.
Exactly.
Yes.
It got, the more I was looking at this, the more bizarre it got, right? Because it's like, okay, this is planetary defense. There's one person, right?
Yeah.
Is this person like an asteroid specialist? Nah, she's a lawyer. Is her specialty asteroid law? No.
She had stated, anyway, I did read something within that because I did a bit of a deep dive on this, that apparently in 2029 there is going to be an asteroid that is going to come over fly through the orbit of space, and it's going to be closer to us than the moon. But that was very interesting. So she apparently saw that was at her, made that calculation. So she's very good at her job. So maybe she has some math in there as well, and physics potentially too. Yeah,
there's probably a bit of AI help as well.
Do you reckon? It's like, hey ChatGPT, when is the next asteroid coming to hit Earth?
Did you check it?
She maybe asked Siri.
Do we not remember war games? We do not want computers to be helping us with certain kinds of things. It's not going to be good. Hey
Siri, when's the next asteroid going to hit Earth? If you ask again from your iPhone, I might have an answer for you.
If you ask ChatGPT, it'll invent new asteroids that don't even
Absolutely. It's absolutely made out of like coconuts or something.
Yeah. So anyhow, there's your planetary defense.
Excellent.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate
I don't know why
that
space. I don't know why I picked that image of the space robot. I think I just had to put 2 and 2 together so people could realize it was about space.
2 and 2 equals 17.
Exactly, literally.
She's never going to space. She's
never
in an
going to
office
space
someplace.
She's living the best life. She's probably on some amount of money as well. Better than I am anyway. That's for sure.
I don't know. So, there you go.
Boof.
So let me ask you this. Do you think there is a perfect sleep position?
Yes, I do.
Is there a
Personally.
perfect sleep position? Would you not get tired or not? Would you not get sore if you slept in the same position all the time? So it must be a certain amount of positions.
You're raising a good point, which is no matter what you start off with, you will move around while
Yeah.
you sleep, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're like so tightly bundled like a baby,
Yeah.
and even then they work themselves loose. And but
Yeah.
so the question was, is there a perfect sleep position? And it turns out there is not. And not for the obvious reason, but simply because the science contradicts itself. It's like,
Oh.
so in this article, it's like if you sleep on the left side, you're helping this thing happen. But if you sleep on the right side, you're helping this other thing happen. So it turns out you actually want to sleep on all your sides.
There
I'm not
she
very good at
is.
sleeping on my front now.
I apparently what matters most is airway access.
Okay.
You have to sleep in such a way that you have the most airway access while you're sleeping. Otherwise, you can run into problems.
You're
So
not
depending
blocking
on the
your
person,
abdomen or something. Yeah.
and so it's like have a pillow, use another pillow, give
Yeah.
yourself different pillows, grab a pillow, snuggle a pillow, put a pillow here, put a pillow there.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's way too many fucking pillows. I don't have
put a
that many
nice
pillows.
just one pillow here between my neck and it keeps me nice and upright. But then that's for other reasons. But also I just love the fetal position. I'm just like, and I'm nicely tightly bound, very secure in myself, feel like I'm in
But
the
that's the
womb
thing.
again.
Apparently the fetal position is not a good thing. You're supposed to sleep
Oh, I love it.
slightly, like see how the picture is where the person's like kind of but not fully like tightly like if you're doing that, apparently that's really bad.
Oh,
And you're
well,
like you'll wake up with all kinds of muscle pain.
I think I
You're
do
supposed
prefer the cheek pillows, bum cheek pillows. Those
the
are
bone cheek pillow, the
the
cheek
bum,
pillow,
the bum cheek pillows
the bum cheek pillows.
to sleep on.
Do you have a bum cheek that you could sleep on?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
what does it look like? What's a bum cheek pillow?
It's somebone's bum. You sit.
Oh,
I
I
think it's lost
see.
in
I don't
translation.
know.
Oh, Josh. Oh,
There's
Josh.
there's all kinds of pillows. I remember
Oh yes.
when my ex was nursing, there was like these, but they weren't just called nursing pillows. It was like this kind of the donut pillow and the this pillow, the this pillow. Like,
Yeah.
No, these are
where I come from.
arse cheek pillows. Arse
Arse
cheek.
cheek.
Ah,
But I mean, that would be very uncomfortable. I mean, because
Well,
you'd have to be like,
yeah, but it's
yeah,
nice for a while.
it is for a minute.
Yeah.
is it uncomfortable for you or for the ass? That's the question.
Probably both. But nice for a while and then uncomfortable.
It depends on what the ass is like. If it's a nice voluptuous ass, then it's probably wonderful. If it's
Well,
my
that's what
little
I'm
ass,
saying.
it's probably bony as F. So
I'm an old man. I don't have an ass left anymore. It's gone. Whatever ass there was,
Sagatosh.
it's a flat board. It's just a flat board.
I've got plenty of ass for both of you.
Brilliant. Josh and his saggy tush.
No, it doesn't sag. It's just not there. It's just
Oh.
nothing. It's just gone.
Needs to do some glutes.
I have no idea.
Get some squats in there.
I don't know. I'm a drummer. It's not like I don't use my legs. I do, but I'm also an old man. So what can I do?
Okay.
See what you have to look forward to. See
Yeah.
that, Amo?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Looking
Yeah.
forward. I can't wait. Can't wait. Very exciting.
So make sure that you let Darren know. Sleep on my ass now because
This was not the intention of because it's not going to be there soon. That's because. Welcome to Spill the RT, Tara. On today's show, we talk about the ass and how comfortable it is as a sleeping position or
I
asset.
just love that we've had this picture of this chick's ass up this whole time. For those that are only listening, Amo has a picture of a lady in like yoga pants for some reason, sleeping on the bed with her ass jutting straight up.
No, it's an aerial view without the covers on, and it's the position as which that it is suggested is supposed to be the best sort of position you should be in when you're sleeping.
Sure. Meanwhile, it's been on screen this whole time while we've been talking about ass. So I just wanted to point that out.
Put some context into this. If you're just tuning in right now, we are talking about the best position it is to sleep in. The image on the screen reflects what that is.
As I always say, we're totally professional here. Not
Totally
the way you might
professional.
expect, but
And
we get
she's
it done.
gone. And she's
I
gone.
lowered the tone. I'm sorry. I
That's
lowered the tone.
okay. That's okay. It's okay.
Poof,
Yeah, poof.
poof. So off we go to New York.
Back to New
Everybody,
York.
I think everybody knows Warhol's factory, right? Even
Yes.
if you're not a Warhol fan, I think most people are aware of the fact that Warhol had this large space and it had parties and it was also where he did production and where he lived and all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm.
So this is 2026. It's now been turned into a Uniqlo store.
Yes, it has. And there it is. There's Warhol and there's the Uniqlo store. And if you are a frequent shopper or even a visitor at a Uniqlo store, you'll see lots of his artwork across some of their printed tees, as well as other artists that he rips off, or that Uniqlo rips off, should I say. Um,
And for some
yep.
context, the CBGB is a very famous punk club from when I was coming up in the city. That's now a clothing boutique.
Ah,
Right.
interesting.
So this keeps happening all over the place in New York. All these places got artists. The reason that people come there is because of this, and now it's been turned into this kind of nonsense.
Do you know what would have been cool is if Uniqlo actually used the amount of money that they actually own and really created a cool factory in there and done like an actual Warhol factory and employed lots of multidisciplinary artists and made a really cool new space for people to create.
No,
But,
no.
you know,
The best you would get is something like the Warhol experience, right?
yes,
Where it would be like just crash commercialism.
all of their products that they've got so that they can just
So
earn more money.
maybe it's better that it just got turned into something that isn't really connected to Warhol anymore, right? It's not
Yeah.
bastardizing it. It's just basically saying, fuck you, we don't care about the past, we're moving on. And maybe there's something purer about that. I don't know. What do you think, Tara?
I'm stuck back at what is Uniqlo?
Uniqlo is
Mm.
so you'll be familiar with pennies, yes?
Yes.
Or Primark in
Yeah.
the UK. And so it's kind of like a step up from there. It's like a
It's
department store that does it's like Japanese based kind of like
it's called fast
fast
casual
fast
clothing.
fashion.
Fast fashion. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's like what the kids all wear. Like if you see people on YouTube, like it's like one of the global brands that
Okay.
anybody under like 30, 35
It's
wears,
like
is aware
yeah,
of.
like H&M or
Yeah.
but yeah,
And so
they're
this
all over
is
the UK and in the US.
Okay.
this is
So
now one of their flagship stores. And
okay. Well, I'll be
it's
in New York soon, so I'll pop in and have
there
a
you
look.
go.
Hop
Have a
in and
look.
say,
Absolutely.
why is this not a tribute to
Yes.
Warhol's factory? Come on, get
Yeah.
with the times, guys.
Yeah. There actually is an interesting tour you can do. You can pull up a map that shows you here's all these things from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And it can
Good.
then walk you through as you go through parts of the city, like the West Side, the Lower East Side, where I usually hang out. And it will show you here's what it used to be, and now here's what it is today. And
Good.
again and again, it's like, hey, look,
Mm.
it used to be this cool thing, and now it's this
Another
piece of capitalist.
conglomerate. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
money makes more money.
Yeah. The thing is, though, this is Warhol. So on a certain level, I think he might actually appreciate this.
Mhm.
What do you
Right?
think?
Because his whole point was this is about crass commercialism. That's exactly what I'm embracing. He came straight out of the design industry.
Yeah.
He was a commercial designer working for an agency. So,
Mm.
At a certain level, I think being displaced in this kind of way, he would just see it as the natural evolution
Mhm.
of like, what else would you expect? If I
Mm.
do it right, of course you're going to want to take over my space because it's now famous because I'm famous.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, good for you, Warhol.
Well,
And good for you,
he's dead.
Uniqlo.
He's dead now, and so
He
it's more
said
like the
no.
Warhol Foundation and like his
Yeah.
heirs or whatever kind, as usual, right? There's a foundation, there's an LLC, there's big money there somewhere. Someone's
Yeah.
getting money from this.
Yeah.
It's just not me.
Oh, I think it
None
would
of
be
us.
great. I just think it would be a great idea to do a kind of if they could fund a really cool little incubation space for people to create new things. But
Sure, but
yeah,
do you
I
really
live,
want
I
that?
dream.
But do you want corporate incubation spaces, right? I mean, it's kind of like you can work. Meta has an artist program. Do you really want to be a meta artist? I don't know if I want to be even no matter how good the support might be. I don't know that I actually
Mhm.
want that kind of support. It seems to me that
What
there's a
you
lot of cultural
in
baggage.
case they like just say that they take ownership of your work.
Not even that, just being associated with certain kinds of groups or brands. I don't know that I would want to be. I'm not interested in having my work being associated with people that are trying to like eat the world and shit out whatever's left for the rest of us. No, thank you. Like making rich people
Yeah.
happy doesn't really interest me.
Yeah. Tara, if you were given money from a big pharmaceutical company or a big IT company to create some music, what would you say?
I think I'd try and do my best to do something with it, so that to do something for good.
Yeah, to use it. So to do the job, get the money, and
Yeah.
make it, and but then rediversify. You see, that's the way. See, that's how you should think, Josh.
Nope.
Sorry, Joss.
No. Some things are tainted, and
Yeah.
taking them on spreads the taint. No pun intended. And I'm not
Okay.
interested. And like I
They've
said, each artist, as creators, we have to make our own choices, right? Like
yes.
you have to live with your decisions. I can't tell what
Depends.
anyone
Yeah.
else to live with, but I know I've turned down commissions because I don't want to be associated with certain kinds of things, and that's
It does
money.
depend.
It does. Yeah, I think it depends on the company as well.
Yeah.
100%. But just for me, money is not the bottom line in how I evaluate most things. There are other things that are more important to me. Anyhow, that's a nice segue.
Perfect. That is a
Tell
nice
us
segue.
about you. Tell us.
Give us a little background, Tara. Tell us about your story.
Well, I play Irish music. I'm a fiddle player.
Very good.
And I love playing in sessions. I mean, I have played around the world touring on different, different bands or shows, whatever. But for me, it's more about playing in a session. That's where I just love being in a session because you can really bounce off each other. You're not worried about, oh, it's a performance or whatever. You're just kind of chilling out with folks
Yeah.
around you, which is great.
Yeah.
And the quantity of quality musicians in Ireland is astounding. I mean, it's crazy. We've so many good musicians. And for Irish traditional music, it's seen as like the the mothership of Irish music. So there's hundreds and thousands of people that play Irish music around the world, and so that's where I started a podcast about etiquette in Irish traditional music sessions because people were kind of struggling and getting a bit anxious about joining sessions, especially some of them coming to Ireland when they're like, oh, maybe I'm not. Oh, where am I supposed to do this? Or coming to the mothership, you're like, shit. So yeah, there was kind of like, what am I supposed to do? And I was just chatting to there's another music school that teaches Irish traditional music in loads of them around the States as well, and one of them has set up a podcast club to listen to the podcast, so that they can teach their learners how to join into sessions and what's the behavior that's
Yeah.
kind of normally
Expected.
accepted. Yeah. So it's kind of taken off, which is great.
That's pretty
Great.
cool.
It is cool. It is interesting because in my hometown, there's many pubs around my local that would have like certain nights they'd have dedicated just to session guilds, whereas essentially just local musicians that are coming together and they're just caling together or they're just putting their instruments together and creating music, and it's just great. But I could see actually like where the difficulty would be insofar as like if you were an outsider coming to that town and it's like, well, do I just join in? Or do I, is it that like, oh, well, Jimmy there now, he's playing the violin for years or the fiddle for years and you can't play the fiddle now because he's here now, you can't play, So like, what is the etiquette in that then?
Well, I think you have to just respect that whatever is there. So and this is not skill based, this is not necessarily skill based. This is about going into something that exists before you arrive. So
Yes.
that could be a work, or that could be actually, if you're joining a motorway off a side road and you're just coming into the motorway, you're kind of like, well, these people existed on this motorway before I existed. So therefore I need to have a little bit respect of when I'm joining this, and the
Yeah.
same with a session. So you're just kind of respecting, reading the room, kind of figuring out, if I join this, am I going to disrupt the flow of things, or will I maybe enhance it? And you just kind of chat to the musicians, and I think chatting to the musicians first, because you
Yeah.
have to have some sort of engagement before you just go, "Hi, I'm going to play this," and you're like,
Who do
"Hello."
you think you are?
No, it's not even who do you think you're. It's like who are you, as in Like, are you coming? What's your name? We'd love to know more about you before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
Absolutely.
that kind of, and I think there's a lot of subtlety things that Irish people do that are not understood around the world.
Yes.
You
Well,
understand the same one? Yes.
but there's local culture everywhere, right? And I think what you're talking
Yeah.
about is if you're gonna, because sitting in on a session, I've done that many times, but sitting in on a session around the world is different depending
Yeah.
on what session means in different situations,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
right? And what you're talking
Totally.
about is unless they're deliberately asking you on, you're coming to someone else's house, right? Like
Yes.
there's a way to approach someone else's house, musician or no.
Mm.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
walk in, just make it yours,
Yeah.
not if you want to be invited back, right?
That's
Like,
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would think that is kind of common sense, but I think there's this because they're so anxious about, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. The
Mm.
anxiety fuels all these anxious behaviors, which yeah, those anxious behaviors can then be disruptive and they
see,
don't
I
mean
think
to be.
I have a different, I guess, an additional source for this, right?
Yeah.
The rise of the internet has made many musicians able to learn in isolation,
Mm.
right? And I see this all the time. These people that are developing chops, they can do all these amazing things, but they haven't learned how to play with people,
Yes.
right? They have that. That was where I learned to play, was on stage
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
before I ever recorded, before I ever memorialized what I did.
Yeah.
We played and played and played, right? And so what seems obvious coming from that as a background is not so obvious if everything has been in isolation. So I was just
Yeah.
wondering how much of this is like a generational thing and not specific to like an Irish cultural thing per se, or coming into an Irish cultural thing. It's just you're dealing with people who are like they're turning to podcasts as a way of trying to understand something before they do it. That's not how I, as a Gen Xer,
Mm.
would ever approach, right? It's just not how I do things. It's not how I grew up
Mm.
learning the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems to be kind of across age groups because a lot of it would be from I teach a lot of adult fiddle players, and it was them who really kind of said we really need this, like because I was thinking I was dealing with music performance anxiety, and actually it's not that. It's because they're having the anxiety because they don't know what they're supposed to, how they're supposed to behave, or how they're supposed to react, and so it was them that kind of said we really need this, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. But they wanted me to write a book, and I said I will eventually, but yeah, I said no way, and then they kind of
Well, that's my next question.
probed me.
How much have you grown this out to? How many people are paying attention to this?
There's a lot actually. Yeah. The podcast has it started last July, which is what, 10 or 11 months ago, or less. God, I can't even count, can I?
About 9 months,
9 months ago,
10 months.
yeah. And so it just won some awards in New York about 3 weeks ago,
Oh,
which was
amazing.
great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. And that's why I'm going back over again because there's more awards and there's awards in London as well. So yeah, it's kind of taken off. But it's
Cool.
like these different music schools around the world are starting up podcast clubs just to listen to the
Yeah.
podcast episodes so that they can really learn about the etiquette. It really seems to be helping people, which is the reason I started was to help my students really. So, and they were like, it would take 10 years or 20 years off their learning journey if they could just understand the rules.
Yeah.
And I hate even using the word rules. It's more just the norms or what. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very much within everybody's individual cultures as well. Is that it's a lot of it is unspoken, and those inverted commas rules are not something that are very clear, and you could ask somebody what the rules are, but they mightn't actually be able to articulate what they are. This is just how it is.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not a good tourist. I hate being a tourist, but I'm a really
Mm.
good member of a neighborhood, right? And so when I move someplace, I just observe. Like to me, it just
Mm,
I understand the anxieties you're talking about. It just seems really odd to me because
Mm.
it's just when you go to a new place, isn't it obvious that you don't try to like be the brutish American? You try to just, absorb because that's the point of going to a
Take it
place.
in. Yeah.
You're going there because of that place's place, right?
Yeah.
Like that, what makes that place that place. I started to get all
Mm.
like
mm,
ontological and epistemological here, right? But there is a deep philosophical underlying point here, which is the world is not all the same. It's different in different places,
mm.
right? And part of why people want to embrace that is precisely because it isn't like a different place. It's
Yeah.
special and unique in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I want to impose myself on that? It's the whole thing it just doesn't make sense to me. The whole point of it is to embrace it and enjoy it, not to like control it.
I think maybe other people come from it from a different thing, different perspective. As in, some people might be coming at it from, oh, I've traveled this whole distance, I've bought this instrument, I've whatever. So therefore, you know, I want to either show you what I can do to show off a little bit, or I feel intimidated and I want you to kind of entertain me, and you should play for me, and I should, suck every bit of information that I want out of you because I'm only
Yeah.
here for a short time. And, so there's a load of different perspectives, I think.
Oh, I think it's
People are
quite
weird.
People are weird.
Yes.
I think the other thing as well, as you're kind of speaking about I just think about being at session kills and trying to be. I don't play any instrument, but I have a great appreciation of music. I tried to play the violin at 12, and I just couldn't stand the sound of my own playing. But anyway, so that was the end of that. But my point being was that generally at sessions, people who are musicians they often say, anybody in the room want to join in, or is there anybody who wants to play a song? Or it's like when there is a kind of a sing song, as it were, going on, generally there is a kind of an open invite that if they're generally going to do it, they will do it. They'll invite people to come in and say, oh, would you like to play the guitar? And they'll actually nearly give them their guitar to
Yeah.
play a tune, so like that's
It
also
depends on the
quite
session.
frequent. It does, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a small session, especially, or even a large session, but if it's a group of people who are really, really skilled and maybe they just want to play for themselves, it's
Yeah,
not, that's a different kind of session as well. So, or maybe they're paid to be there and there's kind of
yeah.
like a
It's
pressure on them
but
to,
that's more of a gig than a kind of
yeah.
a situation of, okay, we do this every Wednesday night, and then everybody just joins in and plays along, kind of a thing.
So,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's really cool. So let's get to the kind of the finer details, Tara. How and where is your podcast? What is it called? I can see we've got our little image asset here, which is In Tune with Tradition. That's the name of the podcast.
In Tune with Tradition, and then it has the subtitle of Perspectives on Session Etiquette in Irish Traditional Music.
And where can they find it?
It's on Spotify or Apple or anywhere you can find podcasts, or as where my mother listens because she doesn't have a clue where to find a podcast. So she goes to www.sessionetiquette.com
Excellent.
/podcast, or just go to sessionetiquette.com and find the podcast tab at the
And
top.
you have all the links in there.
Of all the podcasts, you can listen to them. They're embedded into the website, so you can listen there.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Nice.
So let's check all of that out, everybody. Go and see In Tune with Tradition by Tara Connaghan. And that is in the link below as well. So do check out the link, and you can just click directly on that, and it'll bring you straight to Tara's website, and you can just check on and listen. So that's really great. Thank you, Tara.
And learn some etiquette, damn it.
Learn some
how to deal with this
etiquette.
world.
Learn some etiquette.
Take a leaf
Damn
out of Josh's
millennials.
book.
Absolutely. Get some culture in you, folks. And yeah, Session Kyoul is the best thing about Ireland. Well, it's one of the best things about Ireland anyway. It's one of
And
our biggest cultures.
I think that the tourist board doesn't realise how many people come to Ireland for the music. I think they kind of got a shock recently when they did do a bit of a study, and they went, oh my God, really? And
Yeah.
anybody that comes, I work in a distillery as well here in Donegal, and everybody that comes in the door, as they're going out the door, they say, oh, does anybody know where you'd find some Irish music tonight? I mean, it's
Yeah.
the number one question that they all ask.
Yeah. Well, check out Discover Ireland, check out Culture Ireland, check out Fáilte Ireland. They have all listings on those. So if you're listening from America or anywhere else, you can find out all of those locations on those websites too. There you go. Free advertising to Ireland. Ireland, you want to pay us some money? Bring it down.
Irish Tourist Board, come on.
Yeah.
Build it up.
Culture Ireland, we're talking to you, baby. But yeah, no, there's so much to do, and look around all of the local areas as well. Don't just go to Dublin and stay there, folks.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's not continue down that slippery slope. Tara, you've been an absolutely wonderful guest. Thank you so much for coming on and spilling the RT with us. You've been fabulous. Thank you.
I have to tell you, I thought it was, when you kind of glance at things and you see spill the tea. Well, I thought it said split the tea.
Split the tea. How would you
I was like-
split the
I was
tea?
like, exactly, that was my
No,
question. I was like,
you
how did they
split the
split the
G.
tea?
Yeah, split the G.
G, not the T.
You're just thinking about the Guinness. You're just thinking about the Guinness, Tara. Get your head out of the pub.
How do you
Get your
split a
head.
Guinness?
How
You're a lady after my own heart. I will split the G anytime you want to. No problem.
how do you split a gin? How do you split the Guinness? You don't, Tara. That's
You don't spell it either.
no. You just split the G. Get that down. I'm just thinking maybe you could split the tea by putting it into a teapot and then splitting it out into little teacups.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
thought it was like you were splitting it with your guests. You know, you're kind of here's your cup, here's your.
that could be a whole other podcast. That's a whole other
Yes.
podcast. Watch this space for splitting the tea very, very soon. Coming soon, the spin-off show. Anywho, that's all we have time for today, folks. But before we go, Josh, please remind our folks at home what they have to do.
Share, subscribe, like, leave a comment, send to 3 friends, buy some swag, be a guest, send a guest our way. I don't know, send us some money. How about that?
Absolutely. Do all that. And check us out at www.newcollective.com, where you can find out our latest articles, all of the art from all of our artists, and lots of news and things that are coming up soon. So until next week, we'll see you very soon and stay creative. Bye for now, folks.
Bye-bye.